ちょっと勢いつきすぎてたな。い
つの間に
2020s have been a golden era for anime, offering some of the most explosive action sequences that left fans at the edge of their seats. This decade truly has given us some of the most unforgettable moments, showcasing epic entrances by both heroes and villains. So today, let's take a look at the best entrances 2020 to 24. Starting off this list with our babyface gangster Mikey from Tokyo Revengers.
あれって嘘だろ。聞いてねえぞ。マイキー。
マイキー君
Now, never, and I mean never, let those innocent looks fool you. Sure, he's got the height of a high schooler who's yet to hit his growth spurt, but they pack such a punch that will make Mike Tyson look normal. He can take on a man twice his size and knock him out in no time. You know the scene I'm talking about, don't you, right? The one that made you wonder if you should be terrified or impressed. A few members of Thoman, including Draken, Mitsuya, and Takemichi, find themselves up against a bunch of Mobius members. Now, the three of them were obviously outnumbered, and Draken ended up in a pretty bad shape. But wait, what's that sound? The roar of a Honda CB echoing in the distance? That's Mikey's bike. As soon as Mikey arrived, Mobius knew it would go down. His face was cold and eyes pitch black, and you know what that means, right? Death and destruction. You know what they say? Never judge a book by its cover. Let's talk about one ridiculously versatile and highly talented assassin named Lug from The Finest Assassin. You see, this guy was a highly skilled assassin in his previous life, but after an unexpected and rather unfortunate demise, he wakes up in a fantasy world as a young boy. When it's time, he transforms into a high-speed, battle-ready force of nature. Lug found Tart when she was on the brink of death, surrounded by wolves. Things are definitely looking grim, and it seems like Tart is about to become the wolves' dinner until Lug does his superhero landing that looks super hard on the knees. This landing literally gave me goosebumps all over because Lug looks super cool and badass while doing so. And the animation? It's so smooth, coupled with the perfect sound for the landing. And honestly, who wouldn't fall in love with Lug during that scene?
"
そりゃいい。それじゃお嬢ちゃん、その。
何をしているのですか?"
You know I mentioned before, don't judge a book by its cover? Well, Yor from Spy Family is the epitome of that phrase. On the surface, she looks like your everyday sweet and somewhat clumsy civil servant who wouldn't hurt a fly. But boy oh boy, beneath that innocent exterior lies the secret of all secrets. Yor is a world-class assassin known as the Thorn Princess. And trust me, she didn't get that title because she's great with roses, but because her entrance pierced through the hearts of millions of fans. During one instance, Yor was out grocery shopping with Anya when Anya was kidnapped by some bad guys. Those guys had no idea the kind of trouble they were in. Yor makes her badass entrance by kicking their leader. And did you see that pumpkin? Yor didn't punch it, she stabbed it with her hand. Yor's display of sheer power was enough to scare those kidnappers away, and she saved the day. And honestly, the bad guys were lucky to be living, considering what Yor actually does for a living.
私はその子の母親です。そのお野菜のようになりたくなかったら早々に立ち去りなさい。
Let's move on to Undertaker, aka Shin from the mecha anime 86. Now, Shin is infamous for his role as the Reaper of the battlefield. He's the guy who's always there when things are about to get grim, and not just because he's a talented pilot. Shin's call sign, Undertaker, comes from his grim task of carrying out a sort of battlefield mercy for his fallen comrades. During one of their battles with the Legion, Shin makes his grand entrance and saves his comrades from dying. Before Shin rolled in, the Gyadian Confederacy was in some serious hot water. The Legion had them on the ropes, making life miserable for everyone involved. Armed with nothing but his brand new Reagan Leaf, he jumped right into the thick of it and put on a show that made the entire Federacy drop their jaws. He single-handedly destroyed most of the Legions and showed everyone who the real boss is. Also, the animation of this scene is just gorgeous.
86共和国の化け物め
Let's talk about a hulking and absolutely intimidating demonic figure from Record of Ragnarok. Yes, I'm talking about Harjun, who has an aura that screams bad news from miles away. He's not only the final boss of all the final bosses, but also has a serious attitude problem. After Zero Fuko was out, Harjun stood in his place, this embodiment of pure malevolence. As he made his grand yet sinister entrance on the battlefield, even Buddha had to take a step back because he could tell the kind of disaster Harjun was capable of bringing forward. As soon as Harjun makes his grand entrance, the air gets sucked out of the arena. It was literally breathtaking with all those people holding torches. He literally made everyone's jaw drop to the floor with his first appearance, and we kind of understand why. Ah yes, Gojo Satoru, the absolute sweetheart of the anime world that even the manliest of men can't help fangirling. He's not your average powerful sorcerer, he's the OP sorcerer that the cursed spirits are wary of. You see, when Hanami, a super strong and dangerous curse, showed up, our heroes had to do something. He found himself up against Itadori and Todo, who were doing pretty good against the cursed spirit. But when Gojo detected Hanami's presence, he decided to be a little rough with him. To make things interesting, Gojo combined his curse techniques red and blue, merging them to create an attack that doesn't just damage, it erases. And his presence in the battle nearly changed everything. He just stands there and hollow purple does the job for him. Now that's an entrance that doesn't even require the character to physically appear. It's the sheer sense of horror and dread, knowing your opponent can almost end you with their abilities without even needing to show up. And the background music during this scene, oof.
Yay! 一件落着
Let's travel to the chaotic and zombie-filled world of Zom 100 and meet Beatrix. Now, Beatrix isn't your average survivor. She's a full-on zombie-slaying powerhouse from Germany who somehow ended up in the middle of Japan's undead party. And guess what? She's loving every second of it. Now, the entrance she made was nothing short of epic. The door swings open and out steps Beatrix like a total badass. No hesitation, no dramatic speeches, she just jumps right into the action, slicing and dicing zombies left and right. And can we take a moment to appreciate her combat style? She's out there wielding a naginata and yumi like she was born to be a samurai. Each swing is precise, each move graceful, and the way she handles those weapons, it's like she's been training her entire life for this.
ベアトリクス・アメルハウザーと申します。
外国人
女の子？突っ込むとこ多くない？
Smashing his way into the list is Adam Smasher as he gives us a moment to remember when he crashed the part in Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Rebecca!
You see, David and his crew managed to pull off the impossible and break into Arasaka Tower to rescue Lucy from Faraday. Now just when you think they might actually pull it off, who gets called in? None other than the myth, the legend, Atom Smasher himself, and his entrance is a total game changer. The second he appears, the entire vibe shifts. The crew, they're completely unprepared. First up, poor Rebecca doesn't even stand a chance. Atom Smasher just crushes her like she's nothing. Falco, well, he gets his arm shot clean off in seconds. And David, well, let's just say Smasher just tears through him. And Smasher's entrance is the ultimate mic drop that seals the fate of our heroes and brings the series to its epic and tragic conclusion. This list wouldn't be complete without a mention of Shadow from the Eminence in Shadow, who's basically the definition of badass. This guy knows how to make an entrance with a level of drama that's practically unmatched. Let's zoom in on a standout moment from Season 2, which perfectly shows Shadow's incredible style. You see, Lawless City is in utter chaos under the Red Moon, with 2 of the 3 monarchs locked in a fierce clash. Just when you think that things can't get any more intense, who should make his grand entrance but our hero, Shadow. His arrival is nothing short of cinematic gold. As the moon casts its eerie glow over the battlefield, reminiscent of that classic scene from Vampire Hunter D, Shadow's outfit flares out dramatically, forming what looks like a pair of wings. Shadow then drops right into the midst of the monarch's epic battle, and of course he can't resist delivering a killer one-liner that perfectly captures his unbeatable style. How are you enjoying this video so far? You liking it? Well, if that's a yes, please give this video a like so I know you enjoy this type of content. My team's constantly working to bring you amazing content, so don't forget to turn on the notification bell to stay updated with all of my videos. Alright then, let's get back to it. Let's talk about Naofumi, the heart of Rising of the Shield hero. This guy went from being zero to hero in a matter of months, and trust me, nobody's looking down on him anymore. With his unyielding determination and a shield that's anything but ordinary, he takes on the world and makes sure everyone knows that you don't need a flashy weapon to be a legendary hero. Sometimes, all you need is a shield and a whole lot of guts. In Season 3, the demi-human camp that Naofumi owned was attacked by a bunch of thugs. Their twisted plan? To kidnap the kids and sell them into slavery for a quick buck. It's classic villains, right? But before these scumbags could lay a finger on the kids, guess who crashes the party? That's right, our shield-wielding savior and his loyal party. They jump right into the battlefield and get rid of those pesky thugs, saving the adorable and innocent demi-human kids. As soon as they appear, the kidnappers knew they'd messed with the wrong kids. And there's just something about Naofumi always surrounded by his loyal allies whenever he makes his epic entrance against anyone. Meet Shinra, the most electrifying firefighter you'll ever encounter from Fire Force. Shinra's not your average fireman. Nope, he's an extremely OP fireman who can light up his feet and dash around like he's got rocket boosters strapped to his shoes. In one of the most epic moments, Shinra makes his grand entrance in order to save Tamaki. Tamaki is taken to a hidden spot where she discovers that Rekka has been turning people into infernals. Desperate, she lights a signal fire to call for help and tries to confront Rekka. Unfortunately, she's overpowered by the man she once admired. terrified. Rekka, revealing his true colors, steps on her and says that she was meant to take the fall. But just when things look their darkest, Shinra spots Tamaki's flames from above. As Rekka is about to finish her off, Shinra makes a dramatic entrance, crashing down from the sky and slamming Rekka's face into the ground. The impact, combined with the intense animation and sound effects, makes for a truly epic moment. Tamaki, overwhelmed, starts to cry when Shinra asks if she's okay. It's an emotional and perfectly timed entrance that adds a powerful punch to the scene.
よく頑張ったなヒカル。
なんであんたがここに。
Next up, we have Gafgar Hibino from Kaiju number 8, who turned into a Kaiju overnight. Yeah, a few things happened, and this dude who used to pick up leftover Kaiju trash turned into a full-fledged Kaiju himself. Enter Shinomiya, the formidable Kaiju slayer with a reputation for being nearly invincible. Unfortunately, even the invincible can have an off day, and Shinomiya ends up at the grim edge of death's door. And who saves her life? None other than Gafgar in his Kaiju form. But you see, he had to transform into his Kaiju form in order to do that. Otherwise, she would have been dead meat. Gafgar makes his badass entrance just like a superhero who's here to save the day, and boy does he serve. With his monstrous strength and agility, he tackles the Kaiju head on, rescuing Shinomiya from what could have been a disastrous fate. And wait, did he just one-punch the other Kaiju? I swear, One Punch Man is everywhere these days. Moving on, we have Kobe, our charmingly chaotic heroine with a seemingly unremarkable exterior who suddenly becomes the center of attention with her wild antics and over-the-top heroics. Kobe is often seen with her trademark wide-eyed expressions and a perpetual air of nervous energy. Sure, she might come across a bit timid and unsure, but when the chips are down, this gal is anything but ordinary. You see, when this whole fiasco was going on with the Katana Man, Kobe made her badass entrance. She looked like she couldn't hurt to fly, but the things she does to Katana Man, oh boy. You see, Kobe just shows up out of nowhere and her nervousness makes her opponents lower their guards. Big mistake though. In this scene, we get to know that Kobe made a contract with the John Wick devil. Mappa is clearly giving Kobe a bigger budget than she sends to her family. Her casually using Denji as a human shield is just, I have no words for it really. Kobe's entrance against Katana Man is nothing short of mind-blowing. She moves with a confidence that suggests she knows exactly what she's doing and who she's up against, showing no fear whatsoever. 'Let's talk about one of the most iconic moments from Attack on Titan where Eren Yeager reveals himself in Marley. This entrance has one of the best build-ups as no one but Eren knew what would actually happen. You see, Marley, the nation that's been the bane of Eren and his friends, is going about its business, blissfully unaware that things are about to get turned upside down. They're hosting a grand festival and all the big shots are there giving speeches and feeling oh so secure. Enter Eren Yeager, who makes his grand entrance like a storm brewing on the horizon. Eren's entrance is so perfectly timed that it sends shockwaves through the entire city. Buildings crumble, Marley's forces scramble, and there's chaos everywhere. Taiba be like, to the enemy forces of Paradise, this is a declaration of war. Eren is like, and we accept. The contrast between Taiba's dramatic speech and Eren's devastating entrance is just too perfect. While Taiba is still basking in the glory of his declaration, Eren is already turning the battlefield into a scene of carnage.
勢いつきすぎてたな。
いつの間に。
Ichigo Kurosaki is your average high school student if your average student can see ghosts, wield a massive sword, and casually save the world from evil spirits. From hollows to Aaron cards, and even some of the Soul Society's top brass, Ichigo's always ready to throw down. During the 1000-year Blood War arc, Ichigo made his badass entrance against the Bambis that had been wreaking havoc here and there. The universe really hit the game over button for the Bambis, all thanks to Ichigo. This dude makes his epic entrance falling down all the way from the heavens and making everyone turn their heads. I mean, you can make an entrance with a bang, heads are supposed to be turning. The Bambis quickly realized they were out of their league against him. Ichigo took on all 4 of them without even breaking a sweat. He didn't care that he was up against 4 women, they were just in his way.
助けに来たぜ。
次の時代を担う強力な海賊たちが新世界へ押し寄せてくる。俺がもし死んだならカイドウを討てるのはそいつらだ。
Next up, we have our rubbery ball of energy who just can't stop his tomfoolery no matter what. But hey, don't let his carefree and dumb aura fool you. When things go south, you won't see a guy who's more serious and ready to throw down than Luffy. Right after that epic scene where Luffy walks past the 2 emperors to check on Kinemon, he turns around and delivers a punch to Kaido's face that's nothing short of legendary. In a chilling manner, Luffy appears right behind Kaido, ready to absolutely annihilate him. It's not every day when we see Luffy making such a grand entrance with a serious face. It's not just that. Luffy goes on to boldly declare to both emperors that he's the one who will become the king of the pirates. And let's not forget how amazing the punch looked thanks to the animation. Also, Luffy's entrance was a beautifully animated moment that made the punch hit even harder. I still get goosebumps when I see this scene, even now.
Head up!
Let's talk about a dude who's the definition of dangerous on a whole new level. He's got a knack for turning anyone he touches into a demon and making them suffer endlessly. Let's just move on straight to his epic entrance against our dying Ubuyashiki. I personally believe that the animators spent half of their budget on that scene because at this point the studio is just flexing. It's just so smooth and dramatic that I feel like watching it again and again. I mean, you can even sense the air in the scene, if you know what I mean. Bro's walking like he's from an Indian soap opera. I know I always make this joke that if you watch this scene in reverse you'll see Michael Jackson moonwalking, but I just can't help it. This is one of the most epic anime entrances that we've ever come across over the years and will probably hold a high position in our hearts for a long time to come.
なんとも醜悪な姿だな、産屋敷。
If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so we can show more of the best moments around. If you're looking for some more content, why not take a look at the top 20 best showcases of power in this decade so far. See you next time.